All right, so I guess this is video number 2. Kind of waited until I got off the highway this time, but the speed limit on this road is pretty much highway speed limit, just because it seems like the wind noise, I think, is a little bit worse than I thought it was going to be. I tried to use some like noise suppression software, but I feel like in the beginning part of that last video it sounded a little bit funky. I think it was just the noise suppression fighting. The other thing I'm a little worried about in this video is this bike has a new exhaust on it now, and it's pretty loud. So I guess we're gonna see how this goes. So, as far as things to talk about in today's video, I'm going to be kind of doing the Superbike Unlimited tune review for this 2016 Yamaha R1. I've been riding the bike now for a couple weeks, and I am very, very pleased with how it rides. So, a couple of things that were apparent right off the bat on first startup is the throttle seemed much more responsive to the inputs that I put in. Since riding it, I really like that the 3 power modes, the 4 power modes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all seem to feel similar in power, but with different throttle control characteristics. So after playing with the modes, I've been primarily riding in 3 because I feel that it is the most comfortable for the kind of riding that I'm doing most of the time, which is just kind of like casually riding around with some sportier riding sprinkled in depending on the road that I'm on. In Power Mode 3, it gives very manageable, controllable throttle inputs, even at lower RPM. It's a 1000cc bike, so it can still be a little bit rough at low speeds. I mean, the thing at idle wants to go about 20 miles an hour with the clutch out. So it kind of is what it is in terms of that. But it feels really good. The throttle was really unpredictable before the tune. Like, it seemed like sometimes it would be controllable, especially at slower speeds, lower RPM. And then sometimes you would be like, okay, I'm going, like, let's say through this roundabout, and I'm going a little slow, so I'm going to give it a little bit more throttle, and the thing would just, like, kind of really be violent about it. So that was the biggest reason for doing the tune in the first place, was from the research that I did, people really enjoyed that about this tune, and now that I have it, I can corroborate that that is probably the best part about the whole tune. Now, for probably what most people care about is the power. Most people know that the R1 is not the highest horsepower leader bike, and I know that from experience. It does feel a good amount slower than my S1000 did. Now, that being said, it is still a ridiculously fast motorcycle. So I don't think that's relevant. As far as the power change from tuned and untuned, it definitely feels faster, like noticeably faster. And I think a lot of that is just the throttle map, again, the throttle mapping on restrictions, but also just that it runs better with the modifications that are done to this bike. It is quick. Even in like the lower throttle modes, once you get past like 7,000 RPM when it's kind of trying to smooth out your throttle, I mean, it's giving you 100% throttle input. So the thing just rips. If you put it in power mode 1, where the throttle's basically 1-to-1, and you open it up, it is wild. I mean, it just like yanks the front wheel, but very enjoyable to ride. So that's that. I don't have any hard numbers. I'm not running the thing on a dyno. All I can really tell you is what I feel, and that it wakes the bike up in terms of how it feels in general in power, and it makes it more enjoyable to ride in terms of the way that the throttle reacts and the customizable power modes for the way the throttle input is. So that's that. I'll get into, I guess, things that are done to this bike in particular so you can get an idea. It has, I think I talked about it in the last video. I'm going to talk about it again now since it's relevant. Very nice of this guy to put his blinker on so early. I really appreciate that. It has smog delete plates. It has a BMC race air filter. It has fresh spark plugs, but they aren't different than factory. They're just the NGK recommended spark plugs, but they're brand new from when I got the bike. It has an eBay fake stainless steel Austin Racing system, which maybe I'll talk about in its own sense, because that'll be another video I need to be thinking about content. So that's it. Smog delete plates, BMC race air filter, brand new set of spark plugs, and the eBay Austin Racing system. I've also ridden it with this tune with the Dominator. It's I believe a Polish company makes it, the Dominator limp pipe with a Graves short titanium slip-on, so a little bit quieter, and ran similar. I did notice that the idle is a little bit choppier with the fake Austin on it, just because probably it flows a little bit better. Or maybe I'm just noticing it because the tone of the bike isn't smoothed out quite as much. So it's easier to tell that the throttle's choppy, but regardless, that's what's done to it. So whenever I talk about the way that the bike rides and the tune and the way it feels, you kind of know what I'm coming from in terms of that. So, I'm sure you've noticed this looks like a little bit different than the kind of riding we were doing in the first video. We are headed up to a place in California called Frenchman Lake. I have never been up here, and I have never ridden this road, so you are coming on this adventure with me. I wanted to check this lake out for potentially a good place to go kayaking, so that's kind of what we're doing. I was looking on maps, and I think this turns into a dirt road after Frenchman Lake, but I think I can get to Frenchman Lake on a paved road, so we should be able to get there. All right, back to the tune. Things that I maybe don't like about the tune. I opted to implement the smog delete because it said in the description of the tune that actually implementing the smog delete in the tune file would make it pop less. Now, it does pop less, but when it pops, it is very, very loud. It is definitely like a lower frequency, but maybe a little bit more aggressive. It's a cool road. So I don't know if I would say I don't like it at all. It's pretty cool at night. It shoots like a 3-foot blue flame out of the exhaust when it pops. However, I don't like being super obnoxious. I mean, I like a louder exhaust just so people can hear me, as well as hopefully they're looking out to see me. Yeah, look, this is stuff we gotta be careful about. You see that gravel in the middle of the road? That's why you kind of want to always try to stay where cars' tires are gonna be, because that's gonna be the cleanest part of the road. But you always want to be looking out. Oh, that little river is really, really pretty. It's a cool road, but I'm already starting to see that maybe a little bit sketchy because of the gravel. There's a lot of these turnoffs here, and when people come back on the road, they drag a bunch of gravel up with them, especially if somebody's being a fucking douche and like spinning their tires in the gravel and throwing it onto the road. So anyway, I like a louder exhaust so people can hear me as well as see me, but I don't like the big loud bang, pops and bangs, just because I feel like it's a little bit obnoxious. But if you're low in the RPM like that, it doesn't really do it. So if I'm someplace where I'm trying not to be obnoxious, like in my own neighborhood, I just have to run it very low in its RPM range, and then it doesn't really do it. But anything above 6,000 RPM, it does it pretty good. So I'm not sure how much longer of a drive we have, but so that is a con to the tune. The other con that I'm sure people would probably say for this tune in particular is it's a mail-in tune, so you gotta take the ECU out of the bike and send it to Superbikes Unlimited, which if you're on the West Coast like I am, means across the country to North Carolina where they're based, and you're out of the bike. Whereas what I would say would be the competing tune that probably most people get is the BT Moto tune, which is just you do all the shit online, and then when you get the tuner or the flash module thing, the flash box. Oh cool, this guy's waving me by. You just grab your stock file off the bike and you send it to them, and then you get a tune file back. It's telling me to turn right, so let's see. Okay. So that's nice because the bike isn't down for that period of time, right? Oh wow, this is really pretty and a lot of people kayak here. Okay, so this would be kind of a nice spot to come kayaking for sure. So it looks like, well, I guess we'll just ride up here until it seems like we can't anymore. So I mean, that kind of sucks, but I also don't 100% know, to be honest, what the difference is in their tuning capabilities when it comes to the way BT Moto does it. The other difference is the BT Moto tune is much more expensive, and I had a BT Moto tune on my S1000. I thought it was an okay tune. That bike was already pretty good. I don't think they're as corked up as the Yamahas are without a tune, but didn't notice as much of a difference as I did with the SBU tune to this bike. But like I said, I think that's comparing two different animals, so I don't think it's fair. What I will say though is the BT Moto tune is more expensive, and what ends up happening is you get the flasher module. If you get a new bike like this one, they charge, it's VIN locked to the first bike. They'll charge you to switch the VIN over to the new bike and then charge you for a tune, right? Which kind of, that kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. All right, it's telling me to turn in here, but I don't know. I don't have anyone behind me, so we can keep going, see where this ends up. So that kind of sucks. Superbikes Unlimited, under certain circumstances, will also do a reflash for you for free on whatever bike you bought the original one for. I don't know what those circumstances are because I haven't had to have it done. I'm assuming if you get it and there's something that maybe you don't love about the tune, like if I said, hey, I really don't like how much it pops on D-cell, I maybe could send it back in, but that would be something for you to discuss with that Superbikes Unlimited. I had to deal with customer service with BT Moto, but I did it through email. They were pretty good about responding, typically within the same day or the following day. Superbikes Unlimited, I called a couple times to talk to them, and I got answers both times, and the people were super nice and friendly and helpful. So that's kind of my review of the two as a comparison. The nice thing is about the BT Moto, when you do get the flasher, is that you can read codes with it on the VIN number bike that it's tied to. You just need the appropriate adapter for your diagnostic port on your motorcycle. So that's a nice feature. Now, I would suggest that you get some sort of code reader anyway, just because it's good if something happens to have an idea of what's going on, right? You can then kind of read the code, get an idea of what system is having trouble, and then go from there. We're gonna have to turn around because that says rough road. I'm not going down there. Maybe we'll stop and we'll talk a bit. So let's try to see if I can not crash the bike and end the route. Okay, we did. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you should have a scanner anyway, but that is a nice feature about BT Moto is you get the handheld and then you can run codes with it. Most bikes have a diagnostic mode, especially if they're newer bikes with the screen. That'll just tell you the code. So I don't know if that's a huge selling point once you know that bit of information, but it is a point to consider regardless. Pricing. I'm not super, I don't remember super well what the BT Moto, make sure I'm still recording, make sure, I don't remember, repeating myself a lot. I don't remember exactly what the BT Moto costs. I think it was around $600 or $700 or something like that. The Superbike Unlimited tune was, I think, like $290, and then I paid the optional $50 to overnight it back to me when it was done, because that's way cheaper than you can get overnight shipping typically anyway. So I felt that it was worth the extra $50. Otherwise, I think it's free shipping, because they do like orders over whatever, $100 or whatever, free shipping anyway. So if you're not in a big rush to get the bike back, then you could do that. Okay, I don't know what this guy's doing, but I'm gonna round him. So yeah, so that's nice. That you can get like the overnight shipping back to you. And then if you really care, like I did, because we were coming into the riding season, so I wanted the bike for sure. I overnighted it too. I just paid the whatever it was, like $120 with UPS to overnight it to them as well. So to try to maximize the turnaround time. I also, Superbikes Unlimited this year have started competing in Moto America, which, I don't know, puts a little bit of like an emotional investment into it. I think that's really cool that they're doing that as a company. So I want to support them. So, you know, I bought a couple other things from them as well. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff you can buy. You know, they really focus on like track bikes, but yeah. Let's see if we can find a good spot to maybe stop. We could stop down here and talk on the lake. Yeah.
So that's kind of it as far as, sorry, I'm going to turn my music down. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. It's kind of it as far as the tunes go. I mean, those are my pros and cons. So pros, we'll do a quick recap. Pros, much better throttle response, more power noticeably, pretty cheap in terms of tuning. Yeah. Good company, good customer support. Cons, definitely a turnaround time where you're not going to have your bike running because you got to mail in the ECU. Depending on what you're looking for as far as the pops and bangs go, maybe would be worth putting in the notes, because there's a notes section when you send in your ECU on kind of what you want. Just even if you do the smog delete, specify you want it to like not pop at all, or something along those lines, just to get it even less than just the smog shut off does on its own. I don't know if that's anything that they can actually do or not, but it's worth noting, depending on what you're looking for out of your tune. But that's really it as far as cons go, and one of them's kind of a personal complaint on my part, so I don't even know if that counts. Let's talk about, that's kind of it. I mean, that's all I plan on doing for today. I'll kind of do a quick walk around of the bike so you can see it. So yeah, 2016 Yamaha R1S. Note that it's an R1S. Yeah, it's pretty basic. Tail delete with the carbon thing. I did these little knobs so I could take this on and off, because otherwise they're bolts, because I still wanted to use the compartment for like my registration insurance. That's the Austin Racing knockoff exhaust from eBay. It's got some Woodcraft frame sliders. I like them. They're sleek and small. Yeah. Domino grips. I love Domino grips, so I always run them. And a brake lever guard. I have some Zeta levers coming, and I have a new seat coming. This one's pretty wore out. It's peeling up in the back pretty bad. So I have a Race Seats street seat coming. And that's got Vortex chain and sprocket set. That's pretty much it. Oh, and the MRA windscreen. I ran one of these on my 2006 R1 and I really liked it. Yeah, and then obviously it's the quad lock guy, Vertex gas cap, so that's it. That's all of it. Yeah. I'll probably do like a full-on bike review another time. But for now, we're going to head back. Maybe we'll have some general discussion as we head back. Park Ranger, nice, waving, good. I am very hot, as you can see on the dash, even up here at this elevation. It is currently 87 degrees out. It was 91 on the highway on the way here. Wow, we really got to come up here and kayak. This is beautiful. Yeah. I appreciate the views. You guys, I think the last time I checked, my first video is at like 180. Far better than I thought it was going to do. I mean, it's only been about a week. I figured it would, you know, I would have to get like 10 videos in before I start getting like 200 views on one. I didn't expect it to go as well as it did. Really got to watch these assholes coming over the double yellow on this road too. A bunch of tourists trying to go up to the lake. Yeah, so I'll probably end, I guess, end the video here, just because I don't want to have to sift through a bunch of content, a bunch of riding footage of me not talking or anything. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these pretty short and sweet as far as like how much editing and effort I have to put in. So right now it's just trying to clean up the audio so you guys can understand what the hell I'm saying. And and make sure there's no big pauses, and like put a thumbnail together. So that's pretty much it. Okay, thank you guys for watching if you made it this far in this video. If you want to like and subscribe, that's cool, but it's up to you. I don't really mind either way. Of course, it grows the channel. But this isn't how I make my money, so do as you will. You guys have a good wet day, and ride safe. See ya.